What up, everybody? It's your boy, the Infinite Dragon here. I'm gotta be a little bit quieter. My roommate is sleeping in the background. You can probably see him. Nah, you can't. Don't worry about him though if he wakes up. But I'm gonna be a little bit quieter. Today we're gonna be reacting to some Comedy Johnny versus Sonic racing games. I played a lot of these as a kid. So like Sonic Rivals and Sonic Rivals 2 on the PSP, Sonic Freeriders. And all the Sonic Rider games. My favorite one was Zero Gravity because I like how the controls worked. I think he's also going to be tackling like Sonic R, which I heard is a really bad game, but it's a really good, really bad game. He'll probably explain it better than I will. So without further ado, let's get off into the video.
I always race to win, keep running to the end. I gotta move and stay one step ahead. See back and watch me go the only way I know, cause nothing's gonna slow me down.
Sure, I'm in the mood for some more racing games, why not? Sonic's had plenty in his nearly 26-year career, dating all the way back to Sonic Drift for the Game Gear. I'll get to those soon. I wanted to start with the Sonic Rivals series first, the only two Sonic games ever to be released on the JRPG machine, the PlayStation Portable. I'm using an emulator for these two out of recommendation from a couple of my followers on Twitter. I own both games, so I don't mind bending the rules a bit here. The software I normally use to capture PSP footage is currently on the fritz, and I'll be damned if I'm stuck using these component cables. What they do to the picture quality is worse than constipation, I swear to God. And to be honest, I don't plan on spending much time with these in the first place. Sonic Rivals involves Sonic and friends racing each other to the finish for extremely arbitrary reasons as they unravel more of their individual plots. The first game had you pick between Sonic, Knuckles, Shadow, and Silver the Hedgehog. Is this asshole just not allowed to have a good future now?
Judgment Day is inevitable.
Oh, fuck you in that cop-out. No, but Dr. Eggman is stealing people inside cars using this fancy camera, and the gang try to get him to stop, but for some reason everyone wants to race each other to Eggman so you can get to him first, and it gets petty as shit sometimes. Can we brush aside the egos for a moment and stop the mad scientists from taking over the world? Come on, guys. But it turns out it's not even Eggman doing all this, but Eggman Nega from the Rush games, now hailing from the future, instead of a separate dimension. You could at least pretend to give a shit about the continuity, guys. Well, regardless of who you pick, everyone goes through the same stages in the same order. There's no super secret ending when you finish all story campaigns to my knowledge anyway, so it's a matter of preference. The stories are by no means intricate. I stuck with Sonic because, well, it's the handheld Sonic marathon. As for the game, there's 6 zones total containing 2 stages apiece and a boss fight at the end. Your objective is to race your opponent to the end in classic 2D Sonic action, very much like the 2-player mode in Sonic 2 and 3. Everyone can spin dash and homing attack, and that's it. Character abilities are not really a thing in Rivals, so Knuckles can't glide or climb walls, Silver can't grab things with his psychic powers. The only real differences are everyone's special attack when you pick it up. Sonic can boost for a bit, Shadow can slow down time, Knuckles...
This was the game that I invested so much time into as a kid. Like I don't even think I could round to an actual number. I had so much fun with this as a kid.
This can hit the floor really hard, and Silver does something to his opponent. I don't know what the fuck this is. You're relying on items and quick reflexes to win. There's several pickups you can find in the middle of the race to help protect yourself or interrupt your opponent's progression. Fireballs, ice blocks, electricity. It's mostly cosmetic because they all have the same result. Fuck with your opponent. You can homing attack the back of their heads too. Same thing. Kind of wish Shadow could roundhouse kick people on their heads, if you know what I'm getting at here. This is a racing game, so level design favors non-stop movement, like Sonic Rush without a dedicated boost button. Many times you need to make careful jumps and bounce off hurdles to keep your speed steady, otherwise you risk your opponent overtaking the race. But let's be honest here, they'll do that at some point no matter how well you're performing, because this AI rubber bands like a motherfucker. It's not even fucking subtle. But it works both ways, I suppose. They seem to get rock bottom stupid when they're slightly ahead, but I always hated that design mentality. If you got a commanding lead, it should be because you're good at the game. If you're way behind, it's because you need to get better at the game. Assuming the game isn't giving you shit for the wrong reasons. Now, being honest, Sonic Rivals isn't bullshit, but it's sort of just there. Like, you see everything this game has to offer after just 2 zones. You run, you jump past shit, and hope everything works out with proper item usage. Boss fights are sort of like a tug of war to see which competitor gets 6 hits first, but it'll be you. I guarantee that, because the fights are not hard, ranked infinitely restocked, and the computer is a dumb motherfucker. With both Rivals games, it's clear they wanted you to play this with a just call it a hunch. So I'm left with single player content, and Sonic Rivals isn't bad. It's not titillating though. Sonic Rivals 2 has it a little better. The plot's no more complicated. Eggman or Eggman Nega is trying to resurrect a demon named Ifrit by feeding a child a fucking monster, and wants to release it to wreak havoc around the world. Didn't we already do this sort of thing with Iblis in Sonic 06? And poor Silver, he just can't catch a break with this desolate future shit. There's more characters in Rivals 2. Tails, Espio, Rouge, and Metal Sonic all join in the high-speed antics, but again, it's mostly cosmetic. Like for example, Tails can only fly when he naps a special item. Every other time, it's like those 2 Tails don't exist. Rivals 2 offers slightly more variation and mission structure. In addition to racing and boss fights, there's now one-on-one slobber knockers with your opponents, tagging your rival with an explosive device and playing keep away until it detonates, Jesus Christ, and trying to grab more rings than your opponent. Minor stuff if you ask me, but enough to give Rivals 2 that slight edge. It's got better production values too, like full-out voice acting for story scenes, and a good soundtrack. Not that Rivals 1 had mediocre music, but I enjoy this one more. And aesthetically, I think Rivals 2 has the first game beat for the system, and I think the Rivals games were the first true 2.5D Sonic games. Like, it's not just Sonic that's 3D, everything is three-dimensional. And ouch, fuck. But like Rivals 1, it doesn't take long to see everything Rivals 2 has to offer if you're not racing again.
The glitch has never happened.
Story campaigns are over before you know it. Every team goes in the same selection stages. There's more here, yes, but replayability is not much higher than the first game. If you see these at bargain bin price, complete that collection. Anyway, right? Look at this thing just awkwardly popping out with that garish red spine. And why is my copy of Rivals 2 European? The fuck is a Peggy? Now, as much sense as it makes for Sonic to be racing on foot, I bet more people are familiar with him racing in some sort of vehicle. It's no less confusing, but you gotta give it to the man. At least he believes in a fair challenge.
Yeah. I never understood that. Sonic is literally known in his universe as the fastest thing alive, and here he is, not running.
The Sonic Drift series were the first racing games to grace the Hedgehog's namesake, released for the Game Gear in the mid-90s as I suppose an answer to Nintendo's Super Mario Kart. The first Sonic Drift game was Japanese exclusive until the early 2000s when it was finally released as part of the Sonic Mega Collection Plus bundle, but Sonic Drift 2 was oddly given an international release from the start. Maybe they were actually pleased with this one? I don't know, but if they really wanted these to sell in any sense, why not make the games for the console that more people were likely to own instead of the handheld everyone was likely not to own? But still, these ain't giving Mario Kart a drive for their money any day of the week. The first Sonic Drift let you choose between a whopping 4 characters: Sonic, Tails, Amy, and Dr. Robotnik. And every Grand Prix is just the same levels at a different difficulty, so it's already limited in variety and appeal. And to make matters just a little more awkward, this is an 8-bit handheld racing game. There's not much going on here, and it's not the most elegant thing I've played. The game suffers from the same problem I had with something like the original pole position, where even when you know there's an upcoming turn, you hit those curves hard as shit, and if you're not already turning when it approaches, you're skidding on the grass, or just straight up falling down in Drift 2's case. Now I see why they're called Sonic Drift. Driving in a straight line is not really recommended. You should be constantly veering left and right to even stand a chance. There's no story to speak of in any of the 2 games. You just pick your character and head to the races. Sonic Drift's locales are directly ripped from Sonic 1, so there's about 6 tracks total. It's Sonic Drift 2 where they really cranked up the number of different areas, so bonus points for that. I admire the attempt with limited hardware, though I think they were overly ambitious with stages like Rainy Savannah. To simulate lightning, the screen just flashes white for a bit, and that's physically disorienting. It starts to hurt my eyes given how frequent it is, and apparently Tails doesn't like it either. Poor kid's probably having a seizure back there. But Drift 2 has different stages for different cups, so it's not just more of the same at a higher difficulty, and there's more characters here too, though not much more. Knuckles, Metal Sonic, and Fang the Sniper. It's like Rivals 2 where there's more here, but the core gameplay is largely the same, and despite the variety in locale, it's still an 8-bit racing game with all of its trappings. Passable for the time, I suppose, but a small distraction in today's market. These were the games you were probably waiting for though, so let's just head into this shit. Before Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, if someone was talking about Sonic racing games, they were either talking Sonic R because of memes, or the Sonic Riders series, and through how long these games lasted, no one around me can seem to decide whether these games are good or not. Personally, until this video, I only had experience with the first Riders game. I played it on the PS2 first over 10 years ago, and remember not liking it. A couple of years ago, I got it for the GameCube for my collection, and now I'm heading back to it after a long time.
I think that game was meant to be in the GameCube. A lot of Sonic games were meant to be on the GameCube, and they're a lot better on the GameCube.
Gap. So who knows? I didn't like Majora's Mask at first. Now it's my favorite 3D Zelda game so far. Maybe it's the same case here. Oh, who am I kidding? I still don't like this game. I dig how the game starts. This game has style, and I can't take that away from it. Though, wasn't the extreme sports craze more relevant in the late 90s, early 2000s at most? You're late to the party, Sonic. And why does it sound like someone's literally fucking the soundtrack? So this is Sonic Riders, where Sonic and the gang all inherit hoverboards, or extreme gear as this game calls it, to participate in high-speed races.
Not just a race, but a special race to see who's the fastest.
Serious question to Mike Pollock. I love him, man, but please tell me you did a double take when you read that line. Eggman's holding a competition to see who's the best with extreme gear at the cost of 1 Chaos Emerald per entry fee. Jesus, someone's not even trying to be subtle anymore, and I thought Captain Whiskers was bad. Amongst the competitors are the Babylon Rogues, a group of infamous thieves comprised of Jet the Hawk, Wave the Swallow, and Storm the Albatross, straight up one-dimensional pricks who want to prove they're the best with extreme gears, so leave it to Sonic to best them with their own techniques out of fucking spite. Besides that simple story, almost non-existent really. You're racing, consequential shit happens, then another race begins, but then again, wasn't really expecting this sort of game to have any sort of plot, so I won't give this game a lot of flack for it. And that goes for Zero Gravity and Freeriders as well. Didn't know it was possible to make Sonic any more noodle-like after Sonic 06. Everyone looks like they could eat a fucking sandwich now that I see them. I'm afraid I might just snap tails in half if I don't pull this trick off right, but I digress.
Ugh.
If you want to know why I didn't really enjoy Riders my first time, look no further than when you jump right in. Sonic and friends utilize extreme gears, hoverboards in a sense. Maybe they wanted to expand on the snowboarding stuff from the adventure games, and I can see that working out, but dear god, talk about overwhelming the player with mechanics. Like here I thought, well alright, riding a hoverboard, pretty much this game's car, I get that. I can boost for speed, attack those that come close to, but wait, what's that beeping I hear? An air meter, what's that? Pit stops? What, I need a drink? Like what's going on with these jet streams? Is this juking left and right give me more speed? Oh, okay, I'm flipping. Okay, does that happen whenever it feels like, oh, there's a car. Okay, that sucked. Oh, okay, now I gotta rotate the analog stick now for what? Oh, shit, I'm running, I'm on the ground, and I lost. And that was just the first fucking track. Sonic Riders firmly believes if you want to teach a kid how to swim, toss them into the deep end of the pool with an anchor tied around their ankles. Even the tutorial video isn't totally indicative of the kind of shit you're getting into in these courses. Like, why make a racing game that throws this many elements at you from the start? Just to be different? Nothing wrong with that, but if the result leaves me confused and frustrated, was it worth it? Basically, your main objective is not just to win the race, but to keep that air meter filled so you can keep going. Imagine if you're playing Mario Kart but had to worry about the car's gas. The boards run on air, and they later try to retcon that by saying it's some sort of air energy, but no, you said fucking air the first time and that's dumb as shit. If something runs on air, then how the fuck does it run out? Is it constantly leaking? These extreme gears are eco-friendly, but fuck are they flimsy. So to keep the air meter charged, that's where you have to do all this flippy shit, such as spinning tricks off of jump ramps, riding turbulence, jumping off of it when you get these arrow prompts. That doesn't always happen. Can someone tell me why? And depending on the type of character you choose, you can also use a specific type of shortcut to get the jump on opponents. Racers are broken up into speed, flight, and power types, like Sonic Heroes essentially, and characters of specific types can use built-in shortcuts in every track, but that doesn't have as much punch as you might think. There's shortcuts for every type of class in every track, kind of negating the point of separating them into different classes. Some shortcuts are also just harder to access than others. Power characters, for instance, normally just have to break through a wall.
I hated the flying class. It wasn't specifically for this game. I think it was for Zero Gravity because I played that one the most. But flying in those tracks was so hard because you cannot turn for anything, and obviously the game wants you to turn when you're in the air, and so it just doesn't work, and it's stupid.
Or something it's easy to do, but flight characters have to awkwardly jump off of a ramp and steer the character in midair, suddenly shifting to a different control scheme altogether. And is jumping on grind rail supposed to be this difficult? I feel I'm not doing something right here, but sometimes it doesn't matter because a patch of turbulence from a player in the lead can block my way to the grind rail, forcing me to take this railroad that won't help me take the lead instead of taking the other railroad that can possibly help me. Just to make sure I had some basic understanding of what this game entails, I replayed the first track what had to be a large number of times until I can somewhat comfortably get first place, but that's just the thing. Even when I win in Sonic Riders, it doesn't feel like I won. Every one of my victories felt like an honest-to-God fluke. Cause I'm sure there's maybe 50 things I still don't know about this game, but did a racing game in Sonic the Hedgehog really needed all these little intricacies? I mean, every racer has some sort of skill threshold that separates the casuals from the hardcore, but we're talking about the same level of nuance just to get a basic idea. And I have no doubt that those that understand the mechanics of this game can jump in and get some major air, but I'm not feeling this. I can jump into a Mario Kart or Sonic and All-Stars Racing because yes, they're more traditional, but it fucking works because it's easier to understand, and when it's easier to understand, I want to keep playing it until I'm fucking great at it. Sonic Riders want it to be different, and it is different, but as I said before, different does not always equal good or fun. But still, the series got 2 more games, so this obviously hit the mark somewhere, and I won't condemn its success. It's cool that some people enjoyed this, and it was arguably the best thing to happen during Sonic's 15th anniversary. It has some replayability in the form of different boards to obtain unlockable characters, including other Sega icons like Ai from Super Monkey Ball or Knights. Eggman has to be unlocked first, strangely. I always thought that was a little weird, but what's even weirder is his voice clip when you select him, where Mike Pollock suddenly becomes Dean Bristow.
Do you think you can beat me?
I don't know how the fuck they missed that. But next up is Sonic Riders Zero Gravity, and
I loved this game. I might still have this game. This game is so good. To me.
I think I should start with some compliments first. I love the main theme on Gravitify. That song is just great. And on the plus side, zero gravity does away with the air meter. To simplify things, zero gravity requires that you collect enough rings to upgrade your extreme gear throughout the race, so that you can increase your top speed, gain access to shortcuts, or maybe fuck with your opponent. Indeed, I found it easier to win races in zero gravity than the first game, but just like the first game, these victories often felt empty, and this time it was because of the controls and the gravity mechanic. And I'd like to offer an apology here. I had my bud PK Sparks over to record some multiplayer footage for both this and the original Riders. We had fun with Riders, or at least he had fun, but the look on both of our faces when we jumped into zero gravity was just, what the fuck is this? For the record, we played the Wii version of the game, and yet we used the motion controls because you can't use GameCube controllers on the Wii U. This game doesn't support classic controllers for some reason, and obviously doesn't support the GameCube adapter. This game just requires a Wiimote, and you can hold it horizontally or vertically. Yeah, no, just use a GameCube controller or get it on the PS2 because motion controls just make this game an unfulfilling slog, if they're responsive at all. The only mechanic I don't have much...
See, the thing that he was talking about is saying using a mechanic to get good at it. I must have had it with this game because I love this game. The motion controls, I finally, it took me a while to get used to it, but I did it, and it was so much fun. It was so, like, fulfilling to, like, get the drifts right and everything like that.
Much gripe over is the gravity dive, where during long stretches of road, you can shift the Wiimote towards you, then watch as your character blast through the track until it runs out. If you can collide with objects during the boost, you can keep the speed going, but that's if there's actual shit in the way. Otherwise, you gotta veer towards it, which could end up negating your speed gains. You use the D-pad to steer characters, and I think tilting the remote in a direction can help with sharper turns. I swear to Christ that doesn't work though. Every time I'm required to make a sharper than normal turn, I always find myself awkwardly rubbing against the damn wall as if I'm magnetically attached to it. I know this isn't right, but what am I doing wrong here? Is the game fucking up? I don't know. And some turns require the use of gravity control, where you stop dead in your tracks to suddenly shift directions and then take off towards wherever you're pointing at so you don't go careening towards a wall. A part of me likes the idea to temporarily manipulate gravity to reposition yourself and then fucking skyrocket in another direction to save yourself from a pit or something like that. That sounds cool, it looks cool, but repeated use kind of disrupts the natural flow of what's supposed to be a racing game, and turning in gravity control always feels like a struggle, partly because you have to turn the Wiimote in the corresponding direction, which doesn't have the same physical feedback as, say, drifting with an analog stick or triggers in other racing games.
That turn that he just did always made me lose that specific race. This is the race where you have to, like, everyone's in the race, but it's really a race between you and Jet the Hawk, and that turn right there made me fall off so many times.
Or hell, even the first Riders game, where you're required to make those ultra sharp turns. This is a case where I can see the mechanical improvements to the foundation, but when it comes to the Wii version, it's marred by the forced motion controls and the general sense of unresponsiveness that comes with it. So I said earlier, if you really want to play this, play it on the Wii for GameCube support, or on the PlayStation 2, but I still find it a mediocre game all things considered anyway. It sounds fine, looks fine, but besides removing the air meter, that's all it's got going for it, I think. I don't find it as engaging as other racers. Physically, yes, it's engaging, but never did it feel like I was having fun. I like the upgrade system by collecting rings, but a lot of these courses meander. It's like they realized how remarkably straightforward some of these tracks are and then invented the gravity dive mechanic to try and mask the fact that you're just traveling in a straight line. Despite the slight improvements, it still doesn't compare to other games in the genre. And again, shoutouts to my man PK Sparks for the multiplayer assistance. Go check his channel out if you haven't already. I was happy to make you feel like a god in Sonic Riders, bud, and I'm glad I got footage of me falling through the fucking floor in zero gravity. You can't make that shit up. But this game, right here, the last of the Riders lineup, Sonic Freeriders.
This game is garbage. This game was absolute. Boy, it's bad.
This was donated to me by a fan, so I appreciate the love, but you can kiss my ass. The cover doesn't lie. This is a Kinect title. Microsoft's answer to the Nintendo Wii's motion control bonanza, and there ain't no other way to control this bitch. I never owned a Kinect sensor until this video, and setting it up was neat in some regard, bearing the vacant death stare from the calibration card. Good to know the Kinect has the same vision filter as a fucking Predator. Well, you can't hit a moving target, bitch. Come on! I couldn't just skip this game. Wouldn't be complete without it, and hey, the game looks good. It's vivid, runs at a smooth frame rate. I'm sorry about the little icon up there, kind of breaking the immersion a bit, I realize, but that's just the game recognizing that I'm in the room, the fucking stalker. I bet you Sonic Rider fans weren't expecting the first and only high-definition title in the series to include forced motion controls. Well, I guess someone thought zero gravity wasn't involved enough, so instead of using a motion peripheral you can hold in your hands to steer the character, they decided to have you use your entire body to do everything. Steering, jumping, sharp turns, jumping, ring collecting, boulder punching, jumping, swimming, flying, board tricks, jumping, spinning while jumping. The footage speaks for itself.
It's currently, I don't know, it's pretty fucking early in the morning.
Getting ready to record Sonic Freeriders for the 360. I got the Kinect set up and everything. Camera's already on the tripod. I ain't moving much shit else besides my body. Let's get this started.
Let's just get from start to finish.
Alright, big litmus test here. Turn my body forward. Oh no! Fucking next! I know you can hear me, goddammit. Come on, next! Next. Next. Yeah, I know. I can see the next icon on the top right there. I know you can fucking hear me. Next! Next!
Just use your hand, Johnny.
Good job, and raptor wings above you.
Give me my energy, Goku! Go over there. Oh, wait. Go over there. Fucking damn it. Go. Just. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. No, goddammit, come on.
That's, yeah.
Just get the fuck. Oh.
Let's use jumping to aim for the goal.
This is it, boys. We're getting serious here. Oh, maybe it's because I'm not wearing my hat. You know, I could probably get the hat on. You know, I always wear that shit. Did that fucking count? Did that count?
Not quite.
This man moved his couch to record this video. I want you guys to see this right now. Like, I'm liking it. That man deserves it.
I got you now, bitch. What the fuck? What the fuck? That's gonna drain my fucking legs out. Like I'm getting ready to end the fucking show for a sitcom. I was like, yeah. What am I doing? But water? Water? I like just douse myself. Riding a Coke can. Riding a Coke can. Okay, I don't know what the fuck is happening. No, grinding rips. Grinding rips. Just grinding rips. No idea what's happening. No idea. Just fucking. Oh, you just fucking. Moving around at the speed of cramp. Did I make that? I did. I somehow made that. I don't know how I did, but I did. Rings. Ah! Okay, now I gotta wipe fog off the screen? Come on. Fly high, lesbian fox. I can't. I'm done. I'm fucking tired. I don't want to do this anymore.
It's not a good game.
I'm done. No, I don't want to be trying. No, no. No, how did I do that? How did I fucking boost? I didn't even realize I could do that shit. No. What? No, damn you. Damn you. Damn you.
Yeah. The Kinect
Sonic
is not.
Freeriders doesn't work. It's a fucking mess. I spent over an hour on the goddamn tutorial and about 30 minutes just on the jumping shit. What am I doing wrong? I made the space. I'm doing what the game wants me to do. I'm jumping. I'm fucking jumping. This isn't a game you play for fun. You punish your friends with this, if not because they look like fucking tools, but because it'd be fun to see how quickly they lose their cools when nothing's working. It's a pain in the ass just to navigate through the fucking menus. How do you screw up menus? And no, the voice command wasn't that responsive either. Shouldn't be a shocker here. Didn't spend much time on this one. Wasting a shitload of energy just trying to get the control to work to some degree will do that. I got to the volcano stage before calling it quits. My body was sore. I was sweating buckets because do I look like a fit motherfucker? Only positive thing about this, I guess to you guys, is that I have a Kinect now, so it's only a matter of time before I do that Star Wars game. Well, just one more game left to look at, and for a while people were wondering why did it take so fucking long to get to this game. I enjoyed Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, so why not immediately jump into the sequel, Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. It was three things. One, at launch I bought the Wii U version of the game. Had some extra content, but it was bugged up the ass, and I put it on the shelf after just 1 week of playing it. Secondly, I just plain forgot about it. Like, even after patch fixes, or when it was released on the PC, I just didn't pay any mind. I wanted to play other things at the time, which sort of got worse when Mario Kart 8 made its rounds. The third reason I'll get to in a moment, though some of you may already know what that is. In a way, I'm looking at this game out of obligation, but don't take that the wrong way. Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transform is still a great time. I repurchased it on Steam because I didn't want to take any more chances on the Wii U, and I'm glad I did. Compared to the Wii U version, this runs smooth as butter. Barely any load times, frame rates locked at 60, and nothing against the Wii U gamepad. I have no problem playing Mario Kart 8 on the thing after all. But an Xbox 360 controller just feels better in my hands for this sort of game. All-Stars Racing Transform is about more of the same from the first All-Stars game. Several characters are at your disposal, and you unlock more content like courses and characters by completing World Tour events. The higher the difficulty, the more points you're rewarded with, and this time it's not just Sega All-Stars. I thought that was a typo at first, but no, that was intentional, and it's because we have characters like Pyro, Heavy, and Spy from Team Fortress, Ralph from Wreck-It Ralph, and Football Manager? Shogun?
Who is
Danica
that?
Patrick? This is starting to feel like they hit a random article generator on Wikipedia. Like its Nintendo counterpart, you can pick up items to help gain the advantage, whether it's temporary boost of speed or a quick projectile to momentarily spin your opponent out of control. However, as before, items are relatively small potatoes and not total game changers. Winning races largely falls on how well you can drift on the road, take advantage of the speed boost that you can get from chaining them together, and performing stunts when you can get some airtime, and thanks to the most defining aspect of Transform, you'll get more than enough opportunities. In certain points of the race, your vehicle will transform into either a speedboat or an aircraft to accommodate the changing environments. Besides suddenly need to adjust the flight controls, something I gave Sonic Riders a bit of shit for, both handle about the same as the car, so it's more for visual pizzazz more than anything else, and it does add a dynamic component to these racetracks. In one lap, you're burning rubber on the road, and then by the third lap, oh shit, that road was just destroyed, now it's time to take it to the skies. It's like every stage is telling a short story, adding to the appeal of already visually stunning courses. This game looks great. But here's the gist of it. The third reason why it took so long to look at this game,
He is jet skiing, or whatever that boat is, on lava.
because it's one of those that you could recommend to people under 10 seconds. Did you like Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing? Do you enjoy Mario Kart? Well, this is pretty much Sonic Kart. Nothing radically different, nothing you haven't seen before, but it utilizes a working formula, it's functional thusly, so you should definitely play it if you want some Sega love in your kart racing formula. If I did a separate video on this game, it'd be under a minute long, and I don't think I'm popular enough to do 1-minute reviews and feel comfortable about it. Now, if it's part of a compilation, that's a different story, which is why I waited until I wanted to talk about other racing games before finally heading into this one. And it's good. Play it with friends online and get the most out of it. It has enough meat in its bones to warrant revisits with a variety of missions and modifications you can unlock with your vehicle, and it's easy to understand. Sure, it's not as extreme as Sonic Riders, but I couldn't care. I can play this, and I think you can too. Now, about those last two videos. One's a handheld, so it does technically count for this marathon. The other one isn't, but you see, since 2012 when I did my retakes in the 3D Sonic franchise, I've been meaning to give these two titles a similar treatment. I have covered them before, but that was so many years ago. I wanted to see how much has changed in my eyes and perspective since then. Some of you have already guessed what they were based on this teaser image I gave you guys at the end of the Rush video, so yes.
I don't know what game he's talking about.
Next time, we're heading back to 2008. First
Okay, why is he doing Sonic Unleashed and Sonic
up
Chronicles?
to bat is Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood for the Nintendo DS,
I heard that game's not good.
and afterwards, Sonic Unleashed. Both versions. With that said, thank you all for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic night. And take care.
Okay. Be sure to give. I'll link Johnny up in my video. The original video will be in the description. It's the link to his channel, probably the little eye thing right there. I don't know why he's going back to Sonic Unleashed. I really like Sonic Unleashed. That was like when they first implemented the boost mechanics for Sonic, which is a good thing. And I don't know why they changed it with Sonic Boom, but you know, whatever, Sega. Yeah, I think that's about it. So if you like the video, give the video a like, obviously. If you want me to react to something, put that in the comment section below, and that's about it. So yeah.